friends and gamers, and welcome to the Fortress. My name is Jinx, and today I want to have a fireside chat. So usually I make a video that's confidential, but this one is actually free for my opponents to take a look at, eavesdrop, glean any tidbits of strategic information I may provide for them. And I also want to talk about a wealth of different things. Well, not overabundance, but a little bit. I want to talk about victory points and end of game kind of conditions. I want to talk about optional rules. I want to talk about a few other things that pop into my mind as I go through things. I may not do a strategic video this round just because, I'm busy and I'm making this video instead, but this is something I wanted to do for a little bit. So let's talk. Let's have this chat. So it is the 13th turn. It's getting into the 13th turn. As I understand it, Panzer King has already filmed his 13th turn. He's just waiting for a few hours to post it up there. So we'll see if I beat him to it. Now, in a standard game, the game would end on the 19th turn, July 1945, the historic end date. We are not playing with that rule. I kind of voted against playing with that rule. We're not just completely disregarding it. We're playing with a variable game end. It's an optional rule that you find at the end of your book and throughout your book as well too, optional rules. And that's what we're playing with. My thinking with that is this. Since Germany goes first and all the Allies go last, well, mostly last, it's rear-ended, let's say. So the Allies have this kind of incentive to really kind of throw every last-ditch effort to get that last second victory point. So say, for instance, Germany has a victory point for holding Belgium, Netherlands, and Denmark. The British might say, look, we got one airborne sitting here, and we got, 6 fighters in range. We're going to bomb Denmark, and we don't care if we take all of our, aircraft and high-value units as casualties, as long as that airborne lands, and as long as we capture that territory, thereby getting rid of their victory point. Another example would be, I could really plan out the end date and say, okay, on 19th turn, by the end of the 19th turn, I need to have more capital ships than the Italians. And I could really plan that out really mathematically and say, okay, so if I arrange that my ships are going to, be in range, and the last turn just swoop in here and take that one out, haha, I get 1 victory point for them. That's not really realistic. War did not kind of go that way, in my opinion. So I like the variable rule ending because as Britain, I'm not going to be sending ships here because I have to deal with, the Japanese over there, and I have to deal with protecting the convoys in the Atlantic and that kind of thing. I can't plan to that level of degree. I have to think forward of, yes, the turn might end now, but I have to also think further ahead, hoping that, hoping that I'm in a good position when the time is right. So those last-ditch efforts, last-minute casualties, just to get that victory point, yeah, I hope this will avoid that. And I think I really like the variable game ending. So with the variable game ending, there's a chance that the war will end sooner. Like I said, we're in the 13th turn, so on the 17th turn, America, at the end of its turn, will roll a dice, and if it rolls, I believe it's a 1, it's game over. Whoever has most victory points wins. On the following turn, I believe it's a 2, and then the next is 3, and I believe it builds up till, I think it goes up all the way to, you have to hit 8 and up or something like that, or 9 and up, I think. 9, 11, 12, so 3 out of, so 25% chance that the war could even go up to 1990 or something like that, right? It could go for a long time. I doubt it, but there's a chance that it can go on for a little while, or it could end really soon, right? It could end within a couple turns, right? 5 turns. We are, at its earliest date, we are within 5 turns of being done. At its earliest. Unlikely, but there's still a chance. There's 1 in 12 chance that it'll end in 5 turns, which will be nice, but also I'll kind of miss it, all this strategic kind of stuff. I have a lot of fun with this game, and especially I'm having a lot of fun playing the Allies. I know I don't have very, very many victory points, but I'm having a blast trying to figure out a way to, to not absolutely be demolished and also put up a bit of a fight so that my opponents aren't actually victors just like that. No easy victory. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Now, while we're on the topic of victory points, I want to wander you guys over, and you get to see a little bit of my disastrous room, to my victory point chart. So this is my clumsy victory point tracking system. So it simply uses push pins on printed out sheets of paper here, but it tracks out of 4 maximum points. You have 3 here. Germany has 3. Now, next turn they're going to get 1 more here with Yugoslavia and Thessaly, so that's going to go up to 4, and then it'll be maxed out. So I simply just push the pin in the appropriate kind of one, and then that's it. There's 1 more down here, hold southern Ukraine, western Ukraine, and all of Belarusia. But honestly, that doesn't really matter because he's already maxed it out, or will max it out with Yugoslavia and Thessaly. So, not too bad. He's, after that, it's score 1 victory point if Germany possesses Moscow or 2 other cities. So he would need to get that. He's got his resources. He has over $50 per turn. And this one here on the bottom, he can't get anymore because he lost the Spanish Civil War. So he would have, at the end of this turn, well, let's just go with what he has now. He has 4 victory points total. Next turn he's going to get 5, and then he'll be maxed out short of getting this one here. That's the only one he'll have available, and then he just needs to hold on to his territory. So you should expect perhaps some more Lend-Lease going towards Italy or to other nations. If, Soviets are up next, and they look scary. So Soviets, they don't have this buffer zone thing. They would need to hold on to Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, East Prussia, Lubelski, Karjala. And now that one goes in direct contrast to this one here. Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Denmark. So that's going to go in contrast to that. So there might be some struggles over this one. Next up, we have worldwide communism, and he has a glorious 7 points for worldwide communism. But he's maxed out too. The only neutral nation next to him is Turkey that he can invade, and so he could get 2 more victory points there. But then after that, he has to either go for German territory or into Iran with the British territory. But apart from that, that's it. Yeah, I mean, he could do something crazy like going for Britain or going for something else. Who knows? But yeah, that's the only 2 logical kind of choices I could see without going across the ocean. He's got Eastern security, connecting Moscow and Vladivostok, and an ice-free port from Spain. So that's really good. And then technological superiority will come along slowly. So right now he's got 7 here, 8, 9, and then he needs, his 10th will come up shortly. But yeah, he'll be maxed out because he'll need to either hold on to this stuff here, or he'll need to start pushing into Middle East or into Eastern Europe. So he's maxed out for, that'd be what, 7, 8, 9, 9 there. And there's 3 here from the CCP, because the CCP have been quite lucky. They've maxed themselves out too. So they score 1 victory point if no non-Chinese units are in continental China, and 2 victory points if he has more land units than the KMT, and he clearly has that. So he's looking really good right now. Britain, we got 1 victory point here. We need to contain communism, which means that there needs to be nothing in Norway and Spain, which unfortunately is not going to happen. And then here, maintain the empire. So I hold on to South Africa, basically. South Africa, Egypt, and Aden. So that's one we have. Contain fascism, keep them below their starting amounts, and Mediterranean security, well, that won't happen until the end of the game. And right now, Italy has more capitalist ships. We have nothing in the Mediterranean. Preserve the empire. Well, we have lost British Malaya up here. So we've lost that one. And down here, we've lost some territory in Anzac. So we only have 1 victory point for the British Commonwealth. Now here we have the United States, and the only one we have is the Monroe Doctrine. So that's when I saw this, I realized that's what the Italian transport in the mid-Atlantic is going for. It's going for a landing somewhere in the U.S. home country. That's what the only explanation. So we need to protect our coast against that from happening. A bit of an odd situation, and brilliant, because there's nothing I can do now. Well, actually, yeah, there is something I can do. I have 1 turn to fortify my coast and then go from there, just to prevent that ship from dropping off troops. Contain fascism. That's going to be hard to do. Contain communism. Communist USSR has more than 5 new land zones. It has 7. And Pacific security. Well, I don't have twice as many US ships than Japan. Maintain the empire. I don't hold my original territories. And technological superiority is coming along. So I'll have, I might have 3 victory points at the end of the game. We'll have to see. Next up, we have the Italians. Now, the Italians are doing better than the whole Allied side. They've expanded their empire for 2 points, and they have more ships in the Med more capitalist ships in the Med than the Allies. And the only thing, and then they can't get this one. So they're maxed out too. So realistically, Germany's almost maxed out. They only need, well, after capturing Thessaly, they only need one. They either need Moscow or they need 2 Soviet cities, and then they're maxed out. And then we have Japan. Japan is going to be the part where there's going to be the biggest challenge, because they're going to be facing the entire might of the Americans for the most part, unless I switch gears and go a different direction. So colonialism. They don't have over $50 of income. Sadly, I think the only way to do that is either go hard after Japan or go hard after China. One or the other, but that's going to be a difficult one to do because there's just not that much income and they're all just onesies and twosies territory. And Japan has also lost, let's see. Okay, never mind. So yeah, they've got Pacific Security if they own 3 of the following. So they own, I think they own Mariana, Caroline, and Marshall. So I forgot to do this one. Oh, okay. I forgot to do this one. So they have 1 victory point here. So that will have to change. And this is the second time I'll have to change this thing. And down here, raw materials. So if Japan owns British Malaya, Cochin China, and Tonkin, Philippines, Borneo, Java, and Sumatra. So they've actually got 5 out of a potential 4 over here, right? So they're doing quite well. And if you include this one, got 5 victory points. So they're really not doing bad. And now they just need to push hard for that extra cash to get greater than 50 IPP. France, well, score 1. So this is a reoccurring one. Score 1 if German-owned land zones total less than 24. I mean, if I got Germany under 24, then I'd get 3 victory points. By that point, yeah. So whenever you see the Germans doing well, the opposite is going to be true for the Allies. They're going to do horribly. And same thing, eliminate communism. I can't do that because neutral Republican Spain counts as Comintern land zones. So another tough one. Maintain the empire, capture all my land zones with IPP value. Another very difficult one. Okay, lastly down here, the KMT sadly has nothing. They got, if there are no non-Chinese land units in continental China. Oh, I guess we do have that one, so that's +1 for us. Yay! Okay, so I do have to change a few things. That's why I wanted to make this pin board, because every time I look at it, I see things slightly in a different light, so this will help remind me. Score 1 victory point if KMT has possession of 2 of the following land zones, so basically some Japanese territory. And lastly, if I defeat the communists. So that's not going to happen, probably not even this game, just because there's just not enough time to defeat the communists. So the whole big picture looks something like this. Okay, and then up here I've scored all the marks. So I've actually redone this video because before I had them under 11 and now they're 12. And now these guys are at 12 and they're at 3. So we have 12, 12, and 3 victory points. So yeah, the Comintern and the Axis are tied for first. So that is some crazy stuff. I hadn't expected to see that. And yeah, that's my whole board right there.